Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Good day, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Dr. Leadership Podcast. Hope you're having an awesome day. Hey, happy Mother's Day. This is being recorded on Sunday when you're hearing it, if you aren't a member, which gets early access. You hopefully had a wonderful, wonderful happy Mother's Day. I kind of blew it a little bit this morning. I had bought the gift for my wife. I'd gotten the cards from the dog and myself, and I got up and I was thinking about podcasts, and I started cooking breakfast, and I called my mother, and all of a sudden here comes my best buddy, my dog, Jovi, with a Happy Mother's Day scarf on, and went, ugh, I didn't really do that. So I went out and told her happy birthday, told her Happy Mother's Day. Told my mother, Happy Mother's Day. We took her out for a wonderful dinner on Tuesday night, almost 95 years old, sharp as a tack. We had a great job. But Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, all the stepmoms, all the doggy moms and cat moms, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, etc. Enjoy your day. Father's Day is coming around the corner. So give praise to those that raise you. It's awesome. So I talked about membership. You can get early access at these shows if you go out to www.drleadershipresults.com, click on subscription, $5 a month, give it a try. Also, give us some feedback at our email, drleadershipresults@gmail.com, So last week on the episode on winning the possession arrow in Jump Balls of Life, we talked about a lot of stuff, but this was about positioning yourself to win opportunities by doing things right that don't deliver instant results. We're a very, very poorly trained society. Instant gratification is the biggest downfall and holdback to our individual successes. It's this keeping up with the Joneses. It's the fear of missing out. It's all these different things. And you've got to do the right things early. And it's all about not doing those things I just mentioned. This week's episode, I want to expand on that concept of doing the right things when no one's looking, doing the right things when nothing's at stake, by diving into how to be successful in our financial future and our financial successes, right? The same approach holds true here. What you do early and often matters. And it matters a lot. This is the most important thing if you want to have financial security, be able to retire before you're 80 years old in this hyperinflation world we're in, interest rates are high, etc. You better pay attention to this one. I want to take the conversation this way because I mentioned for the next few episodes I'm going to talk about financial success again. And again, I don't have all the answers. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I will tell you this. My wife and I have been very fortunate to build quite a bit of wealth because of consistency. It's not what we've made, it's what we've saved. And when I say saved, I mean invest. So for the next few episodes, we're going to concentrate on financial leadership concepts. I mentioned last week that I've got some really exciting guests coming onto the show here to help us in this part of our lives. So next week, it's formalized out. We've got something on the calendar. Miss Jane Frazier, who is partner of Scherf and Para Company PLLC, which is a full-service accounting and financial consulting firm in Charlotte, North Carolina, will be joining us to discuss how taxes and money management lead to a more prosperous future. See, all these things tie together. She is an awesome, awesome person and has helped my wife and I, myself actually before my wife and I even met. She's been helping me and us for almost 20 years. So an old adage or an old saying out there, I don't know if it's an adage, I'd have to look that definition up, but is to have a couple of good team members. And she's going to talk about surrounding yourself with a good team. But you need a good attorney, you need a great accountant, and you need a very, very strong banker and financial planner in your life. I 100% agree with that. See, I talked about we're really susceptible as human beings for that instant gratification, right? We're susceptible to outside influences. So you got to surround yourself. We've talked about this on the show before too, just guardrails in life. But you got to surround yourself with people that push you to make good decisions, not bad decisions, especially around your financial future. Every time we turn on the news, we're hearing that average wages are down. We're hearing that folks can't afford homes. We're hearing that prices are too high. It's putting a pressure on people. And all of this can be avoidable if you make some consistent and, quite frankly, hard decisions early on in your life. I would believe that most of you know who Charlie Munger is, but I know all of you know who Warren Buffett is. You know, the Oracle of Omaha. So Buffett is one of the world's richest men. And Charlie Munger was Warren Buffett's right-hand man for decades. 50, 60 years. These two, and Charlie was also a multi-billionaire. That's big dollars, right? Great grandkids never have to worry about it. Now, they're both giving a lot of it away, which I think is a great step too, make the next generation earn some of this too. But these two guys have shown what it means to grow wealth. Now, they did it to extreme levels, right? Both of them, as I said, worth north of, Warren's $150 billion or something. Just absurd. Now, Charlie, unfortunately, he passed away this last year. But his legacy lives on. And the reason I bring Charlie up today is I want to talk about his quote-unquote magic number conversation he has had multiple times in his career. Now, Charlie isn't speaking of the magic number you think you need to retire. That's the end goal. I'm going to talk about that one a little bit myself. But rather what he's talking about is the magic number you have to reach as early as possible to ensure you reach that retirement goal. And this allows you, this approach, this magic number approach, setting it, attaining it, it's going to allow you to build real wealth. Remember, you aren't rich until you don't have to worry about money ever again. There's people that make a lot of money. They aren't rich. You drive through the neighborhoods, you see the big houses, and you go, man, they got to be really rich. 9 out of 10 of them are really in debt. See, what they're doing is they're taking the maximum amount they can borrow to look good on the outside, and inside they're trying to figure out how they're making it to the next check sometimes. So in the 90s, Charlie said that this magic number, back to the show here, was $100,000. So I've adjusted that, and for inflation, that number, and that was in the mid-90s that he said that, that number would be more like $200,000 today. Now, $200,000 is a big number, and it may seem insurmountable to some of you younger listeners. But trust me, you can do this, and you can do this really pretty easily. Why was Charlie even saying this? What's this magic number thing even about? What's the impetus of why he made that commentary? Well, let me tell you. It's all about the power of compounding interest. Or in other words, earning interest on top of the 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 interest, compounding forevermore, year after year after year. See, we all need to understand that nearly 0%, yes, nearly 0% of us will ever create wealth off of our salary or our bonuses or our commissions or of our earnings. You can't make enough on your own to be able to retire at 60 or 58 or 55 or 65 or whatever your goal is. You can't save enough just putting it in a savings account off those earnings forevermore to be able to be financially self-sufficient. How you create and grow and retain wealth is through investing, not saving. They're two very different things. Put $1,000 in a savings account and you'll have $1,001 in about 5 years. Invest that $100,000 in the market, or that $1,000 in the market, you'll have $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 in a few years because of compounding interest. It is going to far exceed the earnings from these passbook savings accounts. Passbook savings accounts, I mean, the best you can find is a couple percent. That's no good. Notice I keep saying it's not about saving. Saving money is a great start. It's important. You have to have it available to invest, but it's not the way to build financial independence. You have to do something with your saved money. Just like you don't buy assets that depreciate, right? Real high-end ones. Everyone has to buy a car. Those depreciate immediately. Maybe buy a used car. Tell you a funny story. I talked about the houses you're driving down the road. You see a 10-year-old Toyota Camry driving down the road, pulling into a house that's, 2,000 square feet. It's built 20 years ago. You look at them and go, man, they're really struggling. Well, the car's owned and the house payment is well below what they could pay for a house, and they're saving a ton. They may have a couple $100,000 in savings. Then you go down the block into the next subdivision, and there's a brand new Escalade sitting in the driveway. And that house is probably 4,000 square feet, and it was built 2 years ago. Man, they must be rich. They don't have jack in the investment accounts. See, they're spending it all on trying to be seen as successful versus being successful. Again, saving money is a great start, but I'm talking about building wealth. And how you do this is this. Investing in the markets or other vehicles that garner interest and dividends is the key. Start immediately. Start your kids young. If you have a business at home, you can pay your kids without a tax implication up to a little over $18,000 a year. Make them save half of it. Instead of giving them a allowance, pay them to do things for your business around the house however you want to. You can show them as an employee, and that's going to them. They pay zero tax on it. It comes off of your earnings, so you save tax, and you start the investment young on them. I have 2 children. One is embracing savings a lot more than the other. One will have a much easier later in life situation than the other. One has, $25,000 put away already at under 25 years old. The other, not. Now, love them both, but one is going to have a much, much easier ride later in life. Investing in those markets and those other vehicles that garner interest and dividends is the key. Start immediately and increase every opportunity you get. Charlie, again, Munger, says, do anything you can to create that first 100,000. Now it's 200,000. Do anything you can. He says walk everywhere. Don't use credit cards. Eat at home. Work an extra job. Do anything you can. He says the first 100K is a bitch. His words, not mine. And he's right. But if you do that, man, once you attain that, you can start to loosen up a little bit, right? First of all, that first 100 grand is going to take you 6, 7, 8 years to probably pop away. Maybe it's 10 years. If you start when you're 18, that means it's done at 28. If you start when you're 22, that means it's done at 32. But if you wait until you're 30 to start saving, that person that started at 22 is going to have up to 3x what you do at the age of 65, just because they get that extra 10 years of compounding interest. This is where it is critical to understand the rule of 72. I've mentioned it before on the show. After I have Jane Frazier from Sheriff Para on, I'm then following up with a 401k investment manager. And we're going to talk about his thoughts on investing and savings. And he'll talk about the rule of 72, I'm sure. But if you don't know the rule of 72, write this down. This rule is really simple. For every dollar that earns interest, that rate of interest divided into 72 lets you know how long it takes to double that dollar. So, let me do the math for you. The markets, and when I say the markets, it's investing in stocks and bonds, and I wouldn't invest, and again, I'm not a financial planner. Don't try to pick stocks. First of all, hire a financial planner. It's okay. You can open up one of these accounts to get their support with a few $1,000s. See, they want it to build along with you. Someday you're going to be the $1 million account for them, especially if they're young. Young financial planners are taking everybody that'll give them a shot to invest $5,000. My planner's 60 years old. He likes bigger numbers now. We have bigger numbers, but it took us time. But overall, the markets and the funds and the index funds and things of that nature, and Warren Buffett says just invest in an index fund every single paycheck and you will be a multimillionaire, and he's right. But overall, these markets have garnered 10% on average. You can look at any 5-year period back to the beginning of the 1900s, even including the Great Depression, even including the Great Recessions, all of this. If you look at 5-year windows, it will always average out at around 10%, 9.8, 10.5, 10.1, depending on when you look, but 10% is a good number. So if you take 10% and divide it, take 10 and divide it into 72, the answer is 7.2. So every dollar invested that gets a 10% return on average turns into $2 in 7 years. Here's where the magic happens. That $1 turns into 2, 7 years later turns into 4, 7 years later turns into 8. You haven't added another dollar. You haven't put more money in. This is compounding interest. So if you start with Charlie's $100,000, now let's say it's $200,000. If you can figure out a way to get $200,000 saved by the time you're 35 years old, and you are garnering the 10% number that has been happening for 140 years, 200,000 becomes 400 by the time you're 42. At 49, it's 800. At 56, it's 1.6 million. At 63, it's 3.2 million. That's why the race to the first 100K, the race to the first 200K is so critical. Let the money work for you, man. I figured this out about 15 years ago. Man, how am I ever going to get there? $1,000 into a money market at a time, or into a financial vehicle at a time, didn't look like much. Then it's 20 years later, 15 years later, and you blink and you look down and you go, wow, that is some significant cabbage. The magic is this. All of us, if we can get that first 100, that first $200,000 saved away by the time you're 30, 35 years old, and it takes hard work. Maybe you're only making 60,000, maybe you're making 50,000, maybe you're making 80,000. Every year that's going to creep up. Every year take 50% of that creep up bonus and that creep up extra earnings and that raise and funnel it into that savings vehicle, those markets. Live a little higher with the extra 50%, the other 50%, but save it away. Again, Charlie's example, 100K turns into 200K 7 years from now. 14 years from now, 400K. 21 years from now, 800K. 28 years from now, 1.6. So if you can get 100,000 saved by the time you're 28 years old, 30 years old, everybody's going to work to 58. That's 28 years from then. You're going to have 1.6 million if you didn't save another penny after that first 100K because of compounding interest, all without investing an additional dollar of your own money. By being consistent, and here's the big word, diligent, massive, massive wealth can be built over your career. Many of us are going to work until you're 62, 65, maybe 70. A lot of people are going back to work because the economy is so bad. They did not do this. This is why they have pushed the hard part of their life to the end instead of the beginning, when you have more energy. Working for 42 years allows that initial investment to double nearly 6 times. See, 42 years, if you're getting 10%, that's every 7 years you're doubling. 6 times 7 equals 42. You can double your money 6 times. So by focusing on pushing yourself hard early, you create an easy time later. I've said it before. You can either work hard now or hard later. You pick the hard. I think a good idea here is to set your retirement magic number too and be ruthless in chasing it early on. So I said for years, and this may seem like just a ridiculous number to people from how high it is standpoint. I do like to live well, and I like to not worry about it. And I have a wife that's 12 years younger. I've got to make sure that our financial planning secures her retire. If I retire at 60, she's 48. She's going to be 40, 45 years without a paycheck. So you got to build a lot of wealth here to hold on to it and to make it comfortable for her and yourself. So you got to pick an end number. I said for years, people come to me and go, man, what's the magic number for you? I said, $4 million. Not net worth. I'm not talking net worth. I'm talking investment dollars that are in accounts that are garnering dividends and interest. $4 million. Now, my personal goal is higher than that now because I have some big plans to see the world and do some things that are going to cost some money because I worked hard early. But pick that end target and start working backwards. How do I get there? Okay, let's quadrant this off. If I'm 22 years old or 25 years old and you're able to put, let's say, $5,000 in your 401k every year and your company matches you 50% on that $5,000, that's $7,500 a year. If you start doing that at 22, see, in 7 years, you've got over $50,000 saved without interest. You're actually going to have about $70,000. But if at the age of 23, you get a little raise and you can take your $5,000 to $5,500, then you get $2,750 instead of $2,500. Use all the vehicles that give you money free. 401k match, pop stuff into Roth IRAs when you're young while you can still meet the parameters of not having too much saved to be able, or too high of an income to be able to get Roths done. Use pre-tax dollars in the 401k or the 403b if you happen to be in the nursing field, etc. Use every advantage you've got. Try to get into a home as soon as you can so it's appreciating and you're paying principal and you're paying off interest to have value there. This apartment forevermore may seem less scary, but it's a dumb move in the end. So if you can't afford the $450,000 new house, swallow your pride, go into the older neighborhood, and buy a beautiful $150,000 home. It's where we all started. My first house was $84,000. I mean, you could spin around and touch all the walls. I sold it for $105,000. 3 years later, made $19,000 less. I made $15,000 on that. Plus, I owed less than when I bought it. I put $25,000, $30,000 into my pocket, walked out of that, bought next house, built it, $167,000. Sold it for $205,000. 3 years later, bought a house for $300,000. Sold it for $340,000, bought one for $350,000. Sold it for $375,000, bought one for $740,000. Sold it for $900,000, bought one for $940,000. And it just keeps going. I'm paying stuff down. This is how you build wealth. Use your head, not your heart. Don't use your emotions to go and buy that Starbucks coffee. Make a coffee pot at home, fill the jug up. My wife is talking right now. She was going out. She's got a friend at work that roasts her own coffee. She goes, this is stupid of me to be buying these pods. She's not buying the Starbucks. She just doesn't like spending the $1.50 for each pod. She goes, I ought to be able to make 40 pots of coffee for $10, not 40 coffees, not 30 coffees, not 20 coffees for $10. That's how we live. We look and just say, that's foolish. I evaluate our insurance every year. Can I save a little bit of money there and save it? You just got to manage your money, man. Be ruthless in chasing it early on. So you need to make the money work for you. That $200,000 adjusted for inflation at 10% earns you $20,000 in the first year. You didn't do a thing. You didn't show up to work. That $100,000 saved makes you $20,000 at 10%. Then it creates the next full year $22,000 because you got $220,000 times 10%. The next year it makes you $24,200 and on and on and on. 30 years from now, that initial $20,000 is making you $100,000 a year in interest. You get $4 million put away in the retirement accounts and into investment accounts, and that's $400,000 a year going into your account and growing, plus what you're putting it in when you're 50, 55, whatever it is. Many of you may not be believing that you can ever get there. Shame on you. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else give you the opportunity to have a big paying job and be able to knock these numbers down? Remember, the snowball starts running down the hill the longer you stay at it. Pretty soon you'll be making more on interest than your gross salary every year. That's bonuses, commissions, everything. Yes, really. But it comes down to daily decisions. Don't keep up with the damn Joneses. Don't outspend your means. Pay your future first. No credit card debt, ever, unless it's an absolute emergency. Do you know that most millionaires in this country are teachers and cops? Those aren't the highest paying jobs, folks. They should be. All those careers. Teachers should be making $100 grand a piece, not through union demands, but because they're teaching our kids how to read, write, add stuff up, get out of the political scheme, start teaching our kids again things that are going to be valuable to them. And cops. Same thing with pilots. I like pilots, doctors, cops, teachers, all paid very well because they're important jobs. But think about that. Most millionaires, by sheer numbers, teachers and cops. The reason? They live within their means. My wife and I go to buy a house and they say, hey, $4 million, you can buy $4 million. Not even close. We'll be well under 25% of that. We have done 25% of our borrowing capacity on our homes ever since we've been married. I don't need to impress the neighbors. I don't need to impress someone driving by. They have no impact in my life. I'm confident in myself. Be confident in yourself. You don't need Starbucks. When you go out to dinner, which all of us need to do, treat ourselves a little bit, you don't need to go to the steakhouse. I don't care if you are worth a lot of money. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house. As he says, he could buy anything in the world. He could have the biggest home in the world. Then you have people like Mark Zuckerberg, who has lots of money and it's never going to affect him, but, building $80 million homes in Hawaii. Warren Buffett looks at that and just says, shame, shame. I'm the same way. That's just obnoxious. But again, Mark Zuckerberg created something, didn't have to earn a lot. It spiraled up so quick that he never had to appreciate money. You got to appreciate money. I don't care if you make $500,000, $600,000 a year, you shouldn't be going out to dinner 3 times a week. Go out to dinner every other week. Go out to a place where the average bill is costing you $35 a head, not $135 a head. Don't order the bottle of wine there. Have a drink before you go out. Have a glass of wine while you're there and save the rest. Don't try to be a player, man. It's what happens with these athletes. It's what happens with the rap stars and the music stars and the actors and actresses. They're in all these movies making $10 million here and $20 million there. 25 years down the road, they're broke. Living on the street. Living on the street because of poor choices. Living on the street because they want to be impressive. You got to do the right things early here, folks. Charlie's on to something here. Pick that end number, start working it backwards, and figure out how in the world to get home. Be like the teachers. Be like the cops. It's how they save, not how much their salary is. Let the money work for you. Being a multimillionaire is not hard, except for the decisions you make early. We're going to have Jane come on. We're going to have her talk about taxation. Next week, you can check it out on the Leadership Lounge. All of these things are important for you to put between the 6 inches between your ears here and concentrate on it daily. When you are thinking about getting a new car, don't think about the nicest one you can get. Think about the best one for you to get for the money. Don't buy brand new. Don't take a 20% depreciation hit right off the top until you have financially set yourself up for the future. Get the new super nice car when you're 50, not when you're 25. You are not that player yet. Pick your magic number. Chase the goal, get it put away, and watch it grow. It is amazing what happens. Then the next thing is the last piece. Don't try to time the market. Don't try to put the money in when you think the market's going down. Don't sell things when it's going high. Invest in good funds and hold. If the market's high and you got another $20,000 that's coming to yourself or $2,000 that's coming in your pocket, invest it now. You'll never time the market. I've got family members that try to time the market and they sit and go, how much do you put away? And it's about this. And they go, holy cow, how you do? I don't ever try to time the market. dollar cost averaging. Sometimes you're going to buy on lows, sometimes you're going to buy on some highs, but the market goes up 10% every year. Last year went up 20. The year before it was down 10. The year before that up 22. The year before that up 8. The year before that down 20 because of pandemic. The year before that up 25. You add and smush all that together, 11.5%, 12% the last 7 years. Now, people could have been trying to go in and out and in and out, yet global pandemic affects things. See, the market no longer is affected on the financial wherewithal of the companies you're investing in. It's affected by the news. Congress is fighting about this bill today. Market goes down 200. Hey, Congress said that they might have something figured out on the thing last night. Market goes up 300. There's no rhyme or reason. Just put it in. Never bet against America's economy from a market standpoint. Never bet against innovation coming from companies that are involved in the market. Get in often, and hold. And just keep buying and keep buying. Invest in dividend-generating stocks. That's even more money. You earn the interest on their growth of the stock price, plus you earn more shares with the dividend rebuys. Reinvestment, reinvestment, reinvestment. Do like Charlie does. Work really, really hard early and then kick back and enjoy it. And I'll tell you what, those latter years in your life, if you follow these regiments and you follow these little pathways to success, your life's going to be awesome. Keep that shit up. Talk next week.